Hello friends, welcome to Tricks. Today in this video we will learn about emergency. This chapter is very important but the language in our textbook is a bit complex. Therefore in this video I have tried to simplify the things. The provisions of emergency are contained in part 18 from article 352 to article 360. We know that there are three types of emergencies. First, declared due to war, external aggression or armed rebellion. Second, due to the failure of the constitutional machinery in the states, also known as President's Rule. I have already made a video on President's Rule and you can find the link in the description below. Third kind of emergency is due to threat to the financial stability or credit of India. In this video, I will be talking about national emergency, the emergency under Article 352, and in the next video, I will talk about financial emergency under Article 360. First of all, some important facts related to national emergency. Focus on these words: national emergency due to war, external aggression or armed rebellion. This word armed rebellion was not there in the original constitution. It was internal disturbances. But after the emergency of 1975, this word was replaced because it was very vague. So it was replaced with the word armed rebellion through the 44th Amendment Act. The emergency declared due to war and external aggression is known as external emergency, and due to armed rebellion it is called internal emergency. The president can declare the emergency even before the actual occurrence of war or external aggression. This means that it does not need to have an actual war going on for the declaration of emergency. If the president is satisfied that the situation can arise, he can declare the emergency. But this satisfaction does not mean that he can take this decision on his own. He needs to get recommendation from the cabinet. Then only he can declare emergency. He can also issue different proclamations even if there is existing declaration. It means even if there is some kind of emergency already going on. For example, there is internal emergency due to armed rebellion in the country and another country has attacked us. Then the president can declare emergency based on war and external aggression. This was added after 38th Amendment Act. Third important fact, the emergency can be applicable to the entire country or only a part of it. This was added after 42nd Amendment Act. And finally, the president can declare emergency only after receiving a written recommendation from the cabinet. This is very important. Added through 44th Amendment Act. And we know why it was added, because the emergency of 1975 was declared only on the recommendation of the Prime Minister and no consultation was done. Now let us focus on parliamentary approval and durations of emergency. First of all, it must be approved by both the houses of parliament within 1 month from the date of its issue. What will happen if in that month one of the house is not in session? Then in that case, at least one of the house must give its approval and the second house, which may be Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, if it is Rajya Sabha, then it should give its approval as soon as it meets, and it should be from the date of its meeting till 30 days. The window is of 30 days after the meeting of that house. What happens if Lok Sabha gets dissolved in that period? Then also the proclamation survives until 30 days from the first sitting of the Lok Sabha after its reconstitution, and in the meantime Rajya Sabha must approve this emergency. So in any case, the time period is of 1 month. The emergency can continue as long as it is required, but it must be approved every 6 months. It can be extended to an indefinite period. So approval is not required just once, but after every 6 months. And the same procedure will be followed when one of the house is not in session after that 6 months, or the Lok Sabha gets dissolved within that period of the 6 months. Then the emergency will continue until the Lok Sabha meets and from the date of its meeting till the 30 days. Next, every resolution approving the proclamation of emergency or its continuance must be passed by either House of Parliament by a special majority, not by simple majority. And what is this special majority? I have already made a video on the types of majorities. You can watch that video. I will provide the link in the description. In this special majority, the first requirement is that there is a majority of the total membership of that house. For example, if in Lok Sabha the total majority is of 550, then the majority of this 550, which means 50% plus one of this number. The first requirement is that a majority of not less than 2/3 of the member of that house present and voting. For example, 400 members are present. So 2/3 of this 400 should vote in favor of that proclamation of emergency, and that number must be equal to the majority of the total membership of that house. And if 400 members are present, so 2/3 of 400 is 266. So 266 must be greater than or equal to the majority of the total membership of that house. This complex requirement makes the democracy more powerful. So what we understood here is that emergency can continue for indefinite period of time but requires approval every 6 months. If any of the house is not in session at that time, then the emergency continues. Meanwhile, the another house must give its approval, and the house which was not in session or Lok Sabha gets dissolved, then emergency continues until the next house meets or reconstitutes, and from the date of its reconstitution till 30 days. It must give its approval within these 30 days. Third, the approval of this proclamation is through special majority, and special majority contains majority of membership of that house, that is 50% plus 1 of that house, and second is 2/3 of the member present and voting. Now let us move to the effect of national emergency on state-center relationship, on the life of Lok Sabha and the state legislature, and on the fundamental rights. Since it is a national emergency, then it is quite obvious that the federal state becomes unitary state. All executive, legislative power gets vested in the center, in the parliament. Means parliament can legislate on state subjects. The center can pass any executive order to the states during the duration of emergency. Means the central government becomes all powerful during national emergency. Effect on the life of the Lok Sabha and state assembly. The life of the Lok Sabha can be extended beyond its normal time, that is 5 years, 1 year at a time, by passing a law in the parliament. But this extension ceases after 6 months after the provocation of the emergency. Similarly, the life of the state assembly can also be extended by 1 year at a time, and during a national emergency, similarly the life of the state assembly can also be extended by 1 year at a time, and this extension ceases after 6 months of provocation of the emergency. Effect on the fundamental rights. It is dealt in 2 articles, under Article 358 and Article 359. Under Article 358, fundamental rights under Article 19 are suspended. Under Article 359, all other fundamental rights are suspended except Article 20 and 21. There is a difference between the working of these 2 articles, Article 358 and Article 359. Under Article 358, once a national emergency is being proclaimed, the 6 fundamental rights under Article 19 are automatically suspended, which means the state is free from the restrictions imposed by the Article 19. However, under Article 359, the fundamental rights are not suspended themselves, but their enforcement is suspended during national emergency. Also, state cannot take away the fundamental right under Article 20 and 21. This restriction was imposed through 44th Amendment Act. The 44th Amendment Act also imposed some restriction on Article 358. It said that the 6 fundamental rights under Article 19 cannot be taken away during any other emergencies. It can be taken away only during national emergency due to war or external aggression, and not due to internal emergencies, not due to armed rebellion. These 2 restrictions were imposed by 44th Amendment Act. These were some important facts related to national emergency. I will discuss the financial emergency and important provisions related to that in the next video. I have tried to mention all the important things relevant for exams in this video. If something is left, please mention that in the comment, and don't forget to hit like button and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.